Now, as we look towards our next matchup, we're going to hear Dyrus' game plan for this 1v1.
I have absolutely no plan for 1v1s. It's something I'm most terrible at. And if anything, if I see something good done by any other players in 1v1, I'm just going to straight up copy them and then play that way.
Well, there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. What a start to our 1v1 tournament, but it's time to move on to our second battle of the evening. Now, first up, on the blue side, representing Team Fire, one of two players to compete at every single World Championship. He just wants to play League of Legends, ladies and gentlemen. Mr. Pillow himself, it's Dyrus! And on the red side for Team Ice, hot off his victory in the 1v1 tournament at the International Wildcard All-Stars in Melbourne, representing the Commonwealth of Independent States, it's Kira! Well, it's time to load up and come out fighting.
Come out fighting indeed, the crowd favorite. You can hear it, Dyrus. They won't let him retire, man. They want him to keep trying to play League of Legends.
They do, but it's all about my boy Kira from the IWCA International Wildcard, defending 1v1 champion. The weather is not so great here, but as the Prince of Wales, I decided to bring the rain over. You can thank me later, California. I've got my scarf, IWCA, repping the pride. It's all about Kira, the champion, is gonna dumpster retire us in this one.
Well, I'm gonna have to disagree with you here, Stress, because Dyrus is going to be bringing the heat for Team Fire this time around. Let's see how it happens in picks and bans. We're already through it.
Yeah, already
Lucian,
through.
Quinn, got off the board.
The insta-lock for Caitlyn by Kira. Put this in perspective. Kira literally played two champions.
Why is this guy not an AD carry?
It beats me. He beats some of the best wildcard AD carries. BRTT lost and got outplayed by Kira in a Caitlyn mirror matchup at IWCA. So at this point, I really don't know. Dyrus, this one should have been an easy read.
Well, you know, you heard in his game plan he was just going to try to go for the copy, but he can't copy what's blind. So let's see what he decides to pick up and if it's going to work out. There's still that Caitlyn available, some other AD carries, but Lucian, Quinn, all these off the board.
Oh.
If he locks this Malzahar, though.
Well, we heard Zyrene talk about it, the AD Malzahar, where you just try and all in at like level 2, level 3.
He's going for it.
It brand works. Malz, for the very similar reason, with the dot, does do a lot of damage. I guess this was the result of Dyrus crowdsourcing earlier. You heard Crepo talk about it, Dyrus tweeting. I don't know what to pick for 1v1s. He's pretty much never had them. So he really is just going to go all in on this kind of half-cheese strat. I like it. I like the strat with the Malzahar. It's pretty good. But there is one problem with Malzahar, is if you don't have a sufficient size Voidling, when you actually go aggressive, the Voidling just dies and you lose a lot of damage. And you end up just giving CS for free. So you need a heavily stacked Voidling, which is fairly difficult to do in the early onset of the game. So wondering how this is going to go for Dyrus.
Yeah, well, Kira's definitely got a lot of experience under his belt for this one, coming out as that reigning champion in Melbourne. But, you know, taking on Dyrus as Malzahar, he's still got to be able to sidestep these shots that are going to be flying at him. And I really think that this is going to be a test of will for Dyrus.
Yeah, it will be. And, you know, it's going to be a test of his knowledge of the 1v1 map. Because Kira, one of the reasons why he dominated the 1v1 bracket is he actually knows this map to a T, which is a very weird thing to say about a pro player.
He plays ARAM a lot.
No, but specifically this scenario where towers deal extra damage to minions, so the actual last hitting mechanics are messed up under tower compared to Summoner's Rift. Also, Kira will go very aggressive over the health packs as they spawn.
All right, well, we are once again on the Abyss, the Murder Bridge, and so far it's been true to its name. One kill has been claimed. Will there be another? Will we go to CS? Kira's going to fire that Peacemaker. It's silenced up for just a second, but Dyrus is already losing the trade in an instant recall out of Kira.
All about the map control for Kira. He sets up that ward straight away. He's able to judge exactly the distance on the Peacemaker. It's actually quite impressive how Kira was able to dominate the competition. As I was saying, watch for the health pack spawns around that 2-minute 30 mark. He'll just get himself onto the actual health relic and force his opponent away.
Yeah. Now, by the way, you were talking about the AD Malzahar pick and how a little early on it can do a lot of damage. This isn't the way Dyrus is going. He's built himself a Doran's Ring, and he's going to be going the much more traditional AP path. Now, let's see if it works out. He does have that Q available. The silence doesn't do a ton to Caitlyn, but Kira is abusing the ability on his passive to get more headshot stacks in the brush.
Yes, and again, this is another thing that we saw Kira consistently do, is utilize the brush, make sure he's stacking up that passive very quickly. I'm interested now to see whether Dyrus tries somehow to shove Kira in later on in this matchup, because Dyrus has already lost the pushing game. There you can see the first Voidling of the game dies to Kira very quickly. Dyrus could be in trouble here as Kira is about to hit level 2 off that front minion. Will he go aggressive? Will be able to just chunk Dyrus down from the brush.
Those headshots are starting to sting. He has been hitting the Call of the Voids though, and now he's back up to level 2 himself. But Kira is just staying so safe on the superior range of this Caitlyn. He's relying on it, and it's not really being punished.
No, well, I mean, it's very difficult to punish at this point. The only way that Kira gets punished is if he's standing in his minion line when the Malefic Visions actually just spreads throughout the wave. So unless Kira somehow makes a mistake on that, I don't think he's going to get punished too hard in these early levels, just from the sheer range difference.
Yeah, it's just so hard for Dyrus to be able to combat this, and you can see the CS differential is still creeping up there. The Malefic Visions are chugging away on that cannon minion, but since it doesn't go down, it's not going to spread level difference. Kira just keeps stepping forward.
And look at him force Dyrus away from the health relic. Kira is fine to trade. He sits on the relic. He has Grasp of the Undying as well. That's one key thing that he always runs on these AD carries. He just constantly ticks the timer up on the minions and then auto-attacks the enemy champion because he has that massive range. And any damage that he takes just gets traded straight back with the health that comes to it.
Yeah, so even if Dyrus is able to land a little bit of damage on him, it just goes right back to it. Does get a nice Q between the minion waves. Kira's still able to chunk him out though. But Dyrus actually has a level advantage here for just a moment. We'll see if he goes a little farther forward with it. The Grasp of the Undying's flying back and forth, but I feel like Kira is able to just come a little bit further ahead on it. And then not only his main mastery here, but he's got that lifesteal on the Doran's plate.
But it's so difficult right now for Dyrus to do anything. His health relic isn't up yet, and it's not due up for another good few seconds here. It's another about 15 to 20 seconds before it's due up. I believe it's 75 seconds on the map, so
Kira
it's
might get
actually 3:45 it's due up. You can see Kira shoving it in. He knows that the minion wave is coming. He has to shove this in the next 10 seconds and force Dyrus back, because then there's no way for Dyrus to do anything. He forces the recall and is going to get turret damage out pretty safely here as Dyrus has to get away.
Well, he's not going to back just yet. He's got his Voidling available, but he's running out of minions fast. Kira steps up, gets the health relic. Yes, he burns it away on a shot from the tower, but Dyrus is just zoned out of this farm. It is 30-16, and he is not looking too healthy. The Voidling's going to go down. Kira's still just trying to keep the minions within tower range so he can just keep on firing it down, and Dyrus has got nothing to do.
And this is the kind of situation that a big timer goes on to Dyrus now. He has to all-in Kira before he gets to 100 CS. There's a lot of time left here, and we'll see what Dyrus actually manages to pick up when he goes back, but Kira is going to win this at 100 CS. There is almost no way for Dyrus without a massive all-in, using the Ignite, using that barrier, and getting the ultimate down, for Dyrus actually to come back into this CS game. Caitlyn is just too punishing when it comes to having a lead on CS.
This is exactly what he's got to do. If he can ding 6 in time, he's going to get back to lane before Kira can. If he can manage to get up to that, land the Nether Grasp, finish the channel, and go Ignite, it's the only chance he's got, because otherwise Kira's just going to net away and keep kiting it.
And the key thing is that, you know, people are saying, oh, just build damage, that's all you need, you're an AD carry, you'll win the trades, it's great. Kira knows he doesn't need it. He's got a Doran shield, he's got himself a null magic. All he needs to do is not die in this matchup, and he wins this game. And that is what made him so difficult to deal with in IWCA, because nobody seemed to ban both of the AD carries away from him, and Kira would just play for the late game, and if you made a mistake, he'd punish you before.
Well, Dyrus did manage to get his other health relic there. He is going to land the Q. He does get Malefic Visions on, but more CS traded over to Kira, and that's an ace in the hole. Dyrus takes a little bit more, throws down the null zone as well, and he's not 6 yet. He can't get the Nether Grasp. He does get some serious damage, and Kira's got to be careful playing with fire there against the Team Fire top laner.
Yeah, that was messy out of Kira. Dyrus actually just getting a lot of free damage off. He has to be careful.
He's going in.
As long as he doesn't go into
exhausted.
the turret.
Oh, this could be dangerous, though. Kira steps forward. Dyrus is in the bush. He's heading straight for a trap, but he sidesteps it. Headshots are flying, though, and he has to back away.
Yeah, he has to back away. Dyrus even used his ultimate in that engage, and Kira was just able to get himself basically taking no damage during the entire thing, and that means that Kira is just able to consistently farm this up. Dyrus now has to rethink his strategy.
Oh no, he's on the trap.
Oh, the trap.
Headshots, vision, Kira just keeps trading back, and he gets the health back. On that last trade, too, Dyrus, he canceled his ultimate. It really was an inopportune moment for him, but he had the chance, he just didn't quite get it. Now Kira's just gonna keep on stacking the CS, 54-31. Dyrus is staying alive, but this game could be over.
This game is pretty difficult for Dyrus.
Goes for the net, picks
Yep.
it up. Dyrus just can't get there in time, and he takes a Peacemaker to the back of the head.
Again, it's just all about control over those relics. No potions for Dyrus, there's potions for Kira, so all he has to do, take the relic, chug a pot. The actual effective health he gains from that, it just outweighs everything Dyrus can throw at him. The one thing to keep in mind, Exhaust is on cooldown for Kira. Dyrus has his Ignite, has his Barrier, and the ultimate is going to be up before Exhaust is available once again. So Kira has to respect that, because Dyrus can look to go for an all-in. It just is going to have to be a very well-placed all-in, because he's going to need probably a little bit of help from minions as well in order to take down Kira.
Kira's gonna back here. He's got almost no mana. He's standing on the Hell Shrine, but Dyrus is going straight for him. Throws down the Null Sphere to stop that, and takes a little bit of minion damage, but he might look to go all in here. No, has to back away. A lot of damage from the Caitlyn.
Yeah, it's because he doesn't have his ultimate. If Dyrus had his ult, I think he may have gone all in there. Although he will pretty much need his full rotation to be able to do that.
try.
You can see
Not
the
quite.
Boiling is starting to charge up, but he's losing a lot of the potency as it's attacking the
trade, though.
minions. It is. It's a decent trade, but remember, Kira's got the pots. Kira's just going to sustain up here. Ooh,
Takes a lot of damage there. However, Dyrus still wants to trade back. He's going to throw down the barrier. Kira wants to try and push him further back, but Dyrus has got his ultimate up and available. Ace in the hole. Barrier is also popped on him. And he decides to go for it.
all of this is Kira buying time for his exhaust. That's really everything that Kira is doing here, is just throwing as much at Dyrus to force him not to engage. And as soon as that exhaust is back up, Kira knows that the game is done.
It's really just like a game of chess at this point. Dyrus, unfortunately, doesn't have as many winning moves.
The other thing here is Kira can recall very freely. The CS lead he has built up here, 72-47, means that Kira is never going to miss more than a wave and a half. He backs away, still maintains the lead, gets his Hex Drinker now, and is able to survive any kind of all-in that Dyrus should throw at him. And you can see now Dyrus has only just gone up to 50. And the turret is going to take damage, but it is not going to be enough to take the turret down. Of course, remember, 100 CS, turret kill, or first blood will win you a 1 versus 1.
Kira is intent on winning as much of it as he can. The reigning champion from the IWCA 1v1 tournament. Dyrus will go back and get himself a health pot to try and compete, but Kira's exhaust is almost back up. This is a dangerous moment for Dyrus.
It is, and you know, I'm actually wondering what Kira has for the rest of the tournament here as well, because he got one of the picks he was just proficient at anyway, and Kira does take a damage.
That's a big one. Ignites
Kira,
down. Nether Grasp is going. Dyrus is going all for it. Can he eliminate the All-Star champion? The Hex Drinker shield is on. Dyrus is out of mana and out of options. He's got to back away.
Whew, Kira playing that a little bit greedy. Couldn't get the exhaust off to begin, but he knows that Dyrus doesn't have the damage right now, and that may very well have been Dyrus' last hurrah in this 1 versus 1 tournament, because up to 87 CS now is Kira. It means all he's got to do is get 2 waves and 1 more creep, and that will be the end of the game. Dyrus actually may just lose. No, the minions, there's not enough minions there for him to take the turret down here. So Kira, does he recall away and just take the safe victory on this after taking his health relic? Okay, yeah, he does.
Just going to let the wave bounce its way into the turret. Dyrus will pick up a decent chunk of this, but he is just so far behind. Kira needs 6 minions to seal the deal here. Thanks to that Hex Drinker, it is so hard for Dyrus to try and all-in him. That attempt just wasn't enough.
1 wave to win, which means Dyrus has to go all in on this next minion wave. There is no real option for Dyrus to win this unless he can somehow kill Kira with no summoners for both of them. Dyrus has to go here.
He's trying to keep him off the wave of minions. He does throw a lot of damage, and Dyrus is dancing just outside of the turret range, but the trap is down. Dyrus narrowly avoids it, takes a Peacemaker, takes a shot from the 90 caliber net, but Kira's got a headshot loaded, and he keeps firing, gets another CS, ace in the hole to Dyrus. There's the null zone, but Dyrus is so low here. How long can he afford to zone him out? Kira's having a couple of bad dreams, but Dyrus, he might be done dreaming for this 1v1 tournament. 4 more CS is all Kira needs. Jukes the Peacemaker, nets away. Dyrus takes even more damage on the backside of it, but he's still trying to hold strong. Unfortunately, the Voidling's
3
going right in.
autos?
Dyrus is so low here. 1 level down, the Malefic Vision still burning through.
All Kira's got to do, 4 minions, 1 more auto could do it.
Dyrus can't get out of the brush there. He's trying to get away, but there's the headshot. He wants to finish it in style. Not enough damage. Dyrus hangs on by a thread, but that is going to be
up.
the nether grasp. But that's it. Poros go flying. First blood and another victory for Team Ice.
Whew, as if it wasn't close enough on the CS. Kira goes for the kill. Played it a little bit riskier perhaps than he needed to, but I mean, this is what made it so difficult to beat Kira if you don't ban Caitlyn and Lucian. He's just gonna pick one of the two of them and do that every single time.
It's a lesson hard learned. However, for Kira, he played with fire for a few seconds, and when that happens, you get burned just a little bit. So that one is all she wrote. Kira, the reigning champion from Melbourne, Australia there in that IWCA, CIS region representing, still going through this tournament.
Yeah, and you know, honestly, if I were Kira, we were talking about this a little backstage before. I was like, if I'm Kira, I'm just like, you guys practice for the 5s, I'm practicing for the 1v1. I've already won one, gotta keep on going.
I mean, they didn't win the 5v5 out in Melbourne either. I mean, that went to Turkey.
Yeah, that did, but the amount of points that...
Spoiler, sorry.
Yeah, spoilers if you missed it from 2 weeks ago. But, you know, that was the key thing, was that Turkey put no players into the round of 8 for the 1 versus 1. If they'd have got one player, it would have been very different. But Kira just dominated that bracket. He's well on the way on this one, but he now has to go potentially either up against a teammate or up against, well, formerly Europe's one of their best mid laners. But now I guess he's North America, even though he's
too soon, man.
We're
gonna have to find out. But let's go ahead and send it side to Dash for just a little bit.